just like Bucks County Community College is nestled amongst the beautiful hills of Bucks County, Small Business Server by Microsoft could be nestled in your law office. You might think that I'm trying to sell this product. Well, guess what? I can't sell it. I would never be able to sell it. In fact, I would have to defer you to one of my competitors in order to sell it to you. So you can forget any ambitions that you think I might have. Let's just talk about Small Business Server. Network operating systems like Microsoft Windows Server do a number of things. They encompass what are called services. They provide services to the enterprise, or in this case, small business. A few of those services I'm sure you're familiar with, like email. Email is handled by a thing called Microsoft Exchange. That program by itself wouldn't even work. It needs to be mounted on a server product, on an operating system, in this case network operating system, and Small Business Server is based on Microsoft Windows Server products. So Exchange can be activated through Microsoft Small Business Server, and it comes included with the package. Another service that's provided by network operating systems is database. Almost every corporation has a database server. In this case, Microsoft uses a thing called SQL, SQL. Again, SQL needs to be mounted on an operating system, and the operating system that comes with Small Business Server is capable of handling that. The most recent edition of Small Business Server, which is 2008, does not come with SQL. That needs to be purchased as part of the premium package. So if you were to buy the standard version, you wouldn't get SQL. And also a new feature of Small Business Server 2008 is that SQL is separate and mounted on a separate operating system. You actually are given Small Business Server 2008, Microsoft Server 2008 twice in the premium package, so that you can mount the SQL database software on a separate server. So for an additional $500 or $600, you get both Windows Server and SQL, both of which are many thousands of dollars at the enterprise level. And these things in Small Business Server do exactly what they do in an enterprise, but they only do it for 50 or less computers. So you can see the value that you're going to gain for your dollar by using Small Business Server. Again, I have no ambitions for, you're going to have to go to somebody else anyway to get it, so forget that. Other services provided by a network operating system, or a network in general. Web services, for instance. If you have a human resources department in your corporation, you may want to allow access to your employees to their personal account information. That is provided by a service, Microsoft service called IIS, Internet Information Services. And IIS also needs to be mounted on a Microsoft server. So you see, you know, and in most large corporations and enterprises, these are on separate servers. Your intranet, this is called an intranet server. It's part of web services, and IIS would provide human resources with the ability to allow your employees to get on the company web and fill out forms, this and that. And you can extend this to an extranet as well, to your clients, for instance, your customers. All of this is available on Small Business Server. And in addition to web services, Microsoft Small Business Server also provides other services. The most fundamental services of any network operating system are domain controller and a directory service, a DNS service. All of these are absolutely necessary. Generally, these can be put on the same server, and many times are, even at an enterprise level. DNS is a domain name service. Too complicated to get into right here. It's an entire course by itself. But basically what it does is it ties in your Internet Protocol IP addresses and with your domain name and spreads that across the web so that people from the outside can get in. Now, speaking of people from the outside getting in, another service that's provided by Small Business Server and Enterprise Server is virtual private networking. Now, this is it gives the attorney, for instance, or the secretary at paralegals, the ability to access the corporate network when they're away from the office on a laptop, over a Wi-Fi connection, wireless, from their home. While they travel on the road, they can, through their laptop, access their network. This is called a virtual private network, VPN, and it is also part of web services. Now, probably the service that's used most, particularly in the office, is called file services, file and print services. This would be entirely another different server on an enterprise level, but in Small Business Server, it runs right on the server in the small office for the 10 or 20 computers in that office, and it allows access and storage on your one server. Access to files that you do every day, Word documents, all the data that you might put in a program, for instance, like Tabs 3, you know, the documents that are created can be stored on what's called file services. So that's another server that's included with Small Business Server. All these included with Small Business Server for the same price. So now we're talking all these services 6-7 times 5,000 for the operating system, 6,000-7,000 times the software programs themselves. You start adding up in money, where Small Business Server does this all. And again, I am not promoting this in any way, shape, or form.